Hello and welcome to another update video about oil. So we take a look at Brent crude oil first. Price has rallied quite substantially over the last few weeks. You will remember that we had this very boring sideways action here for, well, months really. It started end of April and we were waiting for this rally to take place. The rally took place. I think we had at the time also a so-called trend reversal or support area down here. I do take these off the chart when they are not relevant anymore, but that was a successful support area where we expected price to turn around for this rally. And interestingly, it maxed out the resistances and even broke a little bit higher. So the ongoing uptrend that we were looking for, that is still ongoing and is actually going higher than I would consider likely in this particular wave count. Means that while we haven't got any invalidation here yet, it might make sense to look at a small adjustment to the chart. I currently still see this as a corrective rally for now. And I explained to you before that if we break above this X wave high at around 87.30, we may need to just consider a larger corrective bounce instead of the wave count that we have, which was looking for a smaller corrective bounce. You can use a trend line to understand when this rally might be finished. So as soon as we break below the trend line, I would say we're probably looking at lower, and the overall assumption, the base case, that we are still getting another low here hasn't changed yet. What I see here is not strong enough for me to consider that a lasting low is in place. What could be a change in wave count? It's actually quite simple. It's what we talked about in previous videos where I said, okay, if we break above 83, here the 78.6 fib level, it's a first signal that we might get a larger corrective bounce. And if we then break above 87.40, we would have to change it. Now it doesn't change a lot. I would just move this X wave up here. So we just have a larger correction. So WXY, and then in the Y wave, a larger WXY. I might adjust that again depending on what happens now, because we're just literally at the edge of invalidating this scenario. We will see, but overall, what would I consider then? Again, it wouldn't really change much where we had before here an A, B, C structure in a B wave. I think we're just losing one wave degree. So let me just think. If we say yes, we had, let me just change that. So this was then the A wave up. There we had a B wave to the downside, whereas I just need to check. Oh yeah, no, probably the B wave did sit here and we have a C wave here. It just allows for a slightly larger corrective rally in the C wave. Let me just think. B, A, B, C. Or actually another WXY here. Yeah, okay, no, 1 second. Yeah. Let's just do that live here. WXY. That makes sense because then we've got in the X wave another 3-wave move, WXY. And in that Y wave, it's a very complex correction, our A, B, C structure. Okay. And this C wave, what I want us to do in this video is to take a look at the subwave count for this C wave, do a bit of a deep dive into, right, what could this actually be? Now, let's go to the, what do we do? Let's go to the 1 hour chart actually. So, I think the best way, to be honest, to count this at the moment would be to take out actually this Elliott wave triangle. There are other ways to count this B wave here. Probably would shift it to over here, and then we had an A, B, C in wave B. And then this C wave seems to be an impulse the way this is developing. And then we can add here a 5-wave move. And then I would call this a wave 1. Probably topped here on the 20th of June. So the idea of this subwave count now is to get an understanding how far are we, how far advanced are we currently in this rally. Then I would consider this probably a 3rd wave, but I'm going to measure that in a minute, the fib levels. Here possibly the 4. We did not get an overlap with wave 1. That's important. Maybe an extension now in this 5th wave. I guess that's one reasonable way of looking at it, even though I don't like the idea that the 5th wave is longer, but you can get these 5th wave extensions. Important for me would be that the 3rd wave reached the 1.618 extension, which it did. So I'm happy with that. 4th wave, okay, and then this 5th wave. I think it's now important to understand how could this 5th wave unfold, and I think this is still looking at a little bit higher, but maybe not much more, because we've got a 1, 2 here. Probably the longest wave I would consider the 3rd, then the 4th, and the 5th. And this is how I would count this. And I don't think we are too far off from looking at a peak here. Next resistance is 87.40. Okay, if we break above that, zooming out a bit, we have more structural resistance here all the way up to $89, $90. But this is a resistance zone still relevant from before, but probably extending all the way up here to around about $90. Let's see if we get above that level. Then we could potentially get a rally all the way up to $100, even in this wave count. But for now, I'm watching for reaction in this area. And this is, I think, what we can go with for WTI as well. It's a very similar situation. Also here, no invalidation yet, but before we get invalidation, wanted to give you an update. Here also, I would just shift the X wave higher. So what did we just do? A wave. So let me just delete that. I'll just change that as we did it for Brent. Same count. Not going to add the subwaves here, but it's the same story where we are looking for a C wave rally, which could likely be, well, nearly finished, but probably pushes a little higher because we normally want the C wave to go above the A wave high. And there is resistance, first of all, at around here, $84, yeah. And if we break above that, we could push all the way up to 94 next. And what we can also do is using the Fib extensions here to measure the length of the C wave, and the 1-to-1 ratio is certainly a common target here. That would be at 85.75. So yeah, not much change here. We did get eventually our rally here that we've been waiting for weeks and months. And it just broke through resistance, however, leading to a small adjustment in the count. However, important is that I still see this at the moment as a corrective rally, which should still also here lead to another low. So let's see, there's plenty of space still that it can run in this scenario. And the subwave count should be clear, but the subwave count hints at the idea that we should be nearly done with this. But pay attention to the trend line. You can add that onto the WTI chart as well. I think only a break below the trend line would signal an end of the rally. So as long as we're holding above the trend line, I'd be looking at higher. Okay, that's my update about oil. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.